This is Ruby reporting for BSN. I'm on the East Field for the free education demonstration where students are gathering to support free education. Let's take a closer look. The sun was bright, as were spirits, at the free education demonstration. UCSC students gathered at the East Field to support free education by collectively spelling it out and photographing it from the sky.
Thank you everybody for being here. You are lovely and amazing.
So what were you trying to accomplish with this free education demonstration?
I was trying to raise awareness of the fact that education, higher education specifically, can and should be free at the point of delivery. I think that it should be paid for by those who can afford it, namely the very wealthy.
How are you achieving this?
By publicizing the event as heavily as possible, and by talking about the fact that there is money in California. It's just in the hands of the super rich. I had a lot of help from one of my professors. She had the contact for the airplane and the photographer, and everyone who was spelling out the letters was brought here by Facebook and by flyers that were distributed by myself and about 50 other volunteers. We weren't affiliated with any registered student organization. We just wanted to make it happen, so we did.
Also at the rally were activities including finger painting, drum circles, and a free book exchange. Who is this puppet next to you?
As you can see, this is Jerry Brown. We wanted to emphasize just the fact that he's stealing our money, and that's why he's all fat.
Rally at Quarry Plaza is the next National Day to defend public education. Who remembers March 4th? Now, it's not going to be quite that big unless we tell all of our friends to be here like we did today. And tomorrow it's supposed to rain. We're having a rally, rain or shine. Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say
no, it's already way blown out.
the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what?
Caught up with Leo, organizer of the March 2nd protests, and asked him what the protesters wanted.
University of California, very much is interested in green and making tons of green off of our dollars.
The issues raised by protesters include expansion of the Ethnic Studies Resource Center.
The Ethnic Resource Center is above the bookstore, in a corner, and they must rent their conference rooms to use from the Career Center. So essentially, the Career Center controls whether or not students of color groups can meet and talk.
Cuts to the administrative pay.
Generally, administration has a $100,000 extra salary increased on top of that. You multiply that by, I don't know how many times, and you wonder why suddenly there's not enough money to fund all these little programs that we used to be able to keep up. Yet administrators are not seeing any reductions to their salary. In fact, they are increasing their own salary.
Increase the faculty to administration ratio.
Our tuition originally started jumping in 1990. 1990 was the same time that they started noticing a lowering of the ratio of faculty to administration. Suddenly, we've reached this point where there's a 1-to-1 ratio of faculty to administration. Every faculty has a manager above them.
And the creation of the Ethnic Studies Department.
That in 1981, the chancellor promised an ethnic studies department to this campus. 30 years later, still ain't here. Now, obviously, you can see my opinion of administration keeping their promises.
The sentiment of demonstrators rang true with students in attendance. And do you think this protest will work?
Well, I think it's something, and so I don't know if it's going to work, but I mean, clearly people are coming out and supporting it, so that's better than just sitting in your dorm and doing nothing about it.
We've been raising our voices so many times. At some point, I know they're going to be hearing us, and they got to respond. I mean, they can't just sit there on their piles of money, just I will ignore them forever, man. Eventually, we can take this to them, and that's what we need to do.
I agree with the whole protest. I think it's a good cause. It's a free education. Taxes have been rising a lot lately, and I can't agree more with this protest here. I do support it. I don't really know if it's gonna affect the decision of the school board that much, but it's definitely showing the students' opinion.
I want to start it off with a chant, and I know for those who are involved and aware of this issue, I want you guys to really say it on top of your lungs, right? So I'm going to start. Dream Act now!
Dream Act now!